Good rising, brethren. This is Big Judah coming to you guys in California. Before I begin, give all praise to the Most High Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother. Who is wisdom? Who is the Holy Spirit? Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. I pray the Most High blesses this lesson this evening, gives us more knowledge and understanding of the events of the past, in order to understand events that are currently happening on the earth, so we get a much better understanding of the things that are soon to come on the earth. Brethren, we're going to be getting into quite a bit of information and, using the ways the Most High has set up everything for here a little, there a little, in order to get understanding of what's been going on. The Most High is also giving us understanding as far as things that we don't have access to. The Most High is working in the spirit world to restore to us information, understanding. I know a lot of times I'll get some kind of understanding about something through the spirit world, and then all of a sudden later on I'll get a book or something like that with some more information that just confirms what the Most High had already shown me. And I feel that's exactly what we're seeing right now. See, the church, the Catholic Church, Christian Church, they made it seem as if the spirit doesn't move anymore. The spirit isn't working anymore. But see, the spirit isn't working with them. Our spirit has never worked with them. So then it's very advantageous for them to teach a doctrine where it seems as if the spirit stopped talking at the end of the Bible, because they never had the spirit communicating with them and downloading with them in the first place. And the ones who have the connection with the Most High, those are the ones that the spirit is working with. So therefore, these churches will be like, well, we have a monopoly on miracles. We have a monopoly on saying who the spirit's working with and who it's not, and if it's working at all, because we're the abominable church and we have that kind of authority. So they've outlawed spiritual downloading, spiritual restoration, how the spirit can come in and give us information. They made that seem as if that is somehow evil and satanic. But that's what, the abominable church has been allowed to do. We're going to see some prime examples of how they've taken our information, hidden it, they read it, and they try to implement the things that they read on the left-hand side. All the while, they've made it seem as if this has nothing to do with us. So therefore, move along. Don't look at these books. Don't look at this information, because it's not yours. But see, they know that eventually we were going to be awakened, and we're going to be reunited with our information, with our understanding. We're going to be reunited with the Most High, reunited with the Holy Spirit, reunited with the angels, reunited with the earth. See, as above, so below. As we get this reconnection with the spirit and the spirit world, it will manifest here below, here in the earth. So they see that we are getting our knowledge and understanding back. That is all part of this. They have our records. That's why, for so long, we used to get so excited when, they know who we are. Yeah, they know that we're Israel. Yeah, they know who we are. They've been knowing. Not only do they know that, they know many of the deep, dark secrets that we have lost, that we don't have understanding about. They read about it. They make movies about it. These people are not able to come up with these things on their own. They read the records that our people are scared to look at. So when you're seeing these movies like Doctor Strange, these Transformers movies, these movies, these Marvel movies, they've been knowing about us. and putting this information out there in front of us. The Most High makes him do it so that once we reconnect with the Father, we start to realize, hold on, that's ours. This is ours. This has nothing to do with them. This is our information, our understanding. Remember, again, there's an exoteric information for everyone, and then there's esoteric information for a select few. We will share a little bit of the esoteric information in order for you to make connections. It's going to be just like the Bible. How you used to get here a little, there a little. See, Most High taught us that like at first, like we were in elementary school. This is how you read it. This is how you get the information. You don't just read it straight through. You're going to get a little bit here, a little bit there. We did that in the Bible to connect the Bible and make it make sense. Because our enemies for so long had made it seem as if, that's not how you read the Bible. You got to read it all. You got to get the correct context. You got to read the whole thing. You got to read it from the beginning to the end of the chapter in order to get the correct context of, what's going on. That was just a way for them to keep us from making the connections. Then you get to the other books, Enoch, Jasher, Jubilees, Testament of the 12. Then you start to make those connections as well. Then you start getting to the Book of Mormon. And you start making connections there as well. Here a little, there a little. That part of the story of the Northern Kingdom, that part of the story of the Southern Kingdom, that all starts to come together. Then you start getting into historical records. And you start to do a little here, a little there, because they've intermixed so many of their lies that you have to be able to pick out the parts that the Spirit leads you to. That's why you have his story. And as Brother Kudumeo says, mystery or my story. My story is hidden in his story. My story is hidden in his story. You have to have the Spirit to be able to pull out my story, the mystery. My story is a mystery. My story is hidden in his story. The mystery must be pulled out with the help of the Holy Spirit. Because everything, lies and truth, are all intertwined together. Now the Most High has given us more spiritual understanding, more of the esoteric understanding, as they say, the occult understanding, the hidden information. And one of the subscribers made a great comment. It was like, when our parents used to buy us Christmas gifts and hide them in the basement in order to keep us from going into the basement and finding those presents, they would say things like, the boogeyman is in there. Don't go down there. The boogeyman will get you if you go down there. El cucuy, as they would be saying in Spanish. I said they would be using that, that fear to keep you from your presence, to keep you from your mystery or my story. All the while, see, they've been reading your story this whole time. They know the truth. They know how deep our history goes. They know about our spiritual connections with the Most High. That's why they had to outlaw spiritual things, spiritual understanding. So the Most High is definitely working with us and giving us knowledge, understanding. He's given us the knowledge and understanding to be able to get into these other books and pull out the meat. As we're going to be doing more videos, but you're going to see even today, when you get into, actually, you get past the, Kabbalah is evil and this and that, and don't read this, and it's you don't need that for salvation, and it's like, hold on, you start to actually read the book, and you start to see they're referencing Israel, they're referencing Hebrews, they're referencing the Israelites, they're referencing Moses, they're referencing Noah, Abraham. All of our ancestors are all over these books. Their names are all over the place. And we're going to get into that in a little bit. Why, if these are such satanic and horrible books, why are they always talking about our people? Why are they giving the hidden history that has not been shared with the rest of the world? See, the Father is not about just, being saved and salvation. We came from specific places in the spirit world, and we will return to those places. We have been sent here to fulfill a mission. All of us have different missions. The work that I do isn't for me to be saved. The work that I do is the work that the Most High has called me to do. So, like I said, it's all about I'm here to do the will of the Father. Whatever it is that He has me do, whatever it is that He wants me to do, that's what I will do. Let's check some of this information out real quick. Let's get into this one real fast. ISIS unveiled a master key to the mysteries of ancient and modern science and theology. And like I said, there's going to be some information in here that, hey, you got to throw out. There'll be some information in here that, hey, this is good. This is us. That's how you have to read just about every book. See, they've taught us that, all of it is correct or all of it is wrong. Either the Bible is 100% true, it's never been tampered with, or you got to throw it all out because it's all wrong. And another one of the subscribers left a comment, which is so true. And I picked this up in one of the old Star Wars movies. It says, only the Sith deal in absolutes. That's how these demons are. They deal with absolutes. All black people are this. All white people are that. That's how they oversimplify everything. Everything is an absolute. Either you're 100% saved because you said Jesus. If you didn't say Jesus, then all of you are going to hell. They deal in these absolutes. The Most High isn't like that. He's not always just all this and all that. He said, can we really know the Most High? I said, I'm not going to sit here and say the Most High, I shouldn't even say that, because I don't know how the Most High is, because he's unfathomable. But I know how these demons are, and they're definitely like, everything's an absolute. It's either all or nothing. Either you all love America 100%, and if you don't, then you hate America. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's all or nothing. It can be, it can't be like, America's done some good things, but America's also done some pretty horrible things. And a lot of these, no, you can't bring that up. That's how they are. Let's check this out. We're here in the middle, okay? What with the Catholics piling up their psychological phenomena to prove the existence of a personal devil, and the Count de Gasperin, an ancient minister of Louis Philippe, collecting volumes of other facts to prove the contrary, the Spiritists of France have contracted an everlasting debt of gratitude toward the disputants. The existence of an unseen spiritual universe peopled with invisible beings has now been demonstrated beyond question. Ransacking the oldest libraries, right here, okay, they have distilled from the historical records of quintessence of evidence. All epics from the Homeric ages down to the present day have supplied their choicest materials to the indefatigable authors. In trying to prove the authenticity of the miracles wrought by Satan in the days preceding the Christian era, as well as throughout the Middle Ages, they have simply laid a firm foundation for a study of the phenomena in our modern times. Okay, so they went all over the place ransacking old libraries to get information. Whose libraries are they ransacking? When it came over here to the New World, you don't think they ransacked the libraries that were here? You imagine the amount of books and information that was here before the Gentiles showed up? How we kept meticulous records? They said they burned everything. You really believe that? This is going to show you that that's not what was happening. See, they're trying to prove one thing. They're trying to prove, that, there is no spiritual stuff, and this is not, and all this information is proving them otherwise. It's proving otherwise. It's proving many of the things many of the tenets that the church had set up wasn't working out, wasn't true. Just like when they came over to all these different places preaching that, the virgin birth and white Jesus, but they had already found out that all these different countries had already been exposed to those teachings from our priests that already went worldwide teaching everyone everything? You see? Let's continue here. So they were going around all these different places getting all this information. Okay. It says, thou art an ardent, uncompromising enthusiast de Mose, unwittingly transforms himself into the tempting demon, or as he is fond of calling the devil, the serpent of Genesis. In his desire to demonstrate in every manifestation the presence of the evil one, he only succeeds in demonstrating that spiritualism and magic are no new things in the world, but very ancient twin brothers. See, and that's what they've been trying to hide, that magic and spiritualism are no new things. They're trying to prove that those things are not existent. Those things are not true. Magic and spiritualism, the spirit world, getting spiritual downloads, being connected to the spirit. See, it wasn't true for them because the Most High put lying spirits over them to lead them astray. So for them, spiritualism wasn't anything, ancient, because it wasn't happening for them. But for us, our Father had been doing miraculous things, giving us, connections, downloads, giving us information, teaching us through the spirit world. So in a way, this is true, but it's true depending upon your point of view, your point of reference. If you're a Gentile and you don't have the Most High's spirit leading you, and you have lying spirits leading you here and there, then yeah, you're not going to see spirituality. You're not going to be getting spiritual downloads, spiritual information. But see, that's what happens with universalism. When you have universalism, you think everyone is in the same boat, is in the same situation. But the chosen, the Israelites, we were getting information given to us, just like when Moses in the burning bush. He had an experience with the Most High. He was given information and understanding. He was given a mission by the Most High. These things were not happening with the Gentiles. So then when he got that download, he got that spiritual information, then he was told to do certain things. And then it looked like when he went to Egypt that he was actually able to perform magic. He was the Most High was bringing the plagues. He was, flexing his muscle against the other nations. And see, the church is trying to show the opposite, that these things don't happen. Then if it does happen, it's the devil that's doing it. So again, in his desire to demonstrate in every manifestation the presence of the evil one, he only succeeds in demonstrating that spiritualism and magic are no new things in the world, but very ancient twin brothers, whose origin must be sought for in the earliest infancy of ancient India, Chaldea, Babylonia, Egypt, Persia, and Greece. So again, there's your little twist. Yeah, we know it's happening, but it starts in these places. Okay, whatever, man. We know how to just throw that part out. I mean, it's dealing with the Most High's people. Spiritualism and in magic, that goes along with the Most High's people. So yeah, we start making our connections again with the spiritual aspects. What do you think comes next? When we start making our connections with the spiritualism and the spirit world again, what do you think comes next? When Moses had his spiritual encounter with the Most High, what came next? Did not the display of power by the Most High come next? So now you understand why it's like, don't look at these books. Don't look at this information. This is evil. Because if we make those connections with the spiritual aspects of who we are, they know that the power is coming next. This is all building up. And this is all being actually given to me right now. I didn't have this understanding before I did the video, but I have my Sharite stone with me. I've been praying the Most High just gives me the words and the information in order to share with you. And he's blessing me right now to be able to bring this to you. All praises to the Most High. Let's continue. He proves the existence of spirits, whether these be angels or devils, with such a clearness of argument and logic and such an amount of evidence, historical, irrefutable, and strictly authenticated, that little is left for spiritualist authors who may come after him. How unfortunate that the scientists who believe neither in devil nor spirit are more than likely to ridicule M. Des Maizeau's books without reading them, for they really contain so many facts of profound scientific interest. Now, how many times do we hear this all the time? How people will critique or ridicule a certain person or books, and they've never even read them. That's what the church has done. Don't look at this. It's evil. You'll go to hell if you do. I'm going to go to hell for reading a book? Where's that in the commandments? I'm going to go to hell for reading a book. Superstition, hiding you from your information, hiding you from that spiritual connection with the Most High. They're only trying to hide certain people from the spiritual world, the spiritual connection. They're only trying to hide the Israelites. Psalms 83. All of them are Confederate. It wasn't just to keep us from our own names, Israel. It's also to hide us, keep us from the spiritual connection with the Most High. The spiritual connection, the spirit world, all these different things that we have access to that the other nations don't. That's how they kept us on par with them, by keeping us away from our power, keeping us away from the connection with the Most High. It says, but what can we expect in our own age of unbelief when we find Plato over 22 centuries ago complaining of the same? Me too, says he in the Eutherion. When I say anything in public assembly concerning divine things and predict to them what is going to happen, they ridicule as mad. And although nothing that I have predicted have proven untrue, yet they envy all such men as we are. However, we ought not to heed, but pursue our own way. Just because other people don't agree with the things that we say, even though they can't prove it wrong, we still must continue and pursue our own way. We're telling the people that we are the Israelites. We're telling people that, judgment is coming because of the ways, we've been treated. We're telling people that if you want mercy, you need to cling to our Father. You need to follow the ways of the Most High. You need to cleave to the Most High's chosen people. We are being the light of the world and showing them how to return to the Most High, how to come back and repent and come back to the Most High. That is our job. But it's also our job to give more knowledge and understanding, to make the connections with the ways of our forefathers. And that's what we all have our jobs, we all have our missions. So again, we read a little bit of this. I mean, if it's Plato was talking about himself, who knows? But this is actually talking about our people as well. Because these are the things that we've been telling. This is what the prophets have been saying. They were telling the truth. They were giving, they would get spiritual downloads and they would go and tell the truth and the people would not listen. So again, but what can we expect in our own age of unbelief when we find Plato over 22 centuries ago complaining of the same? Me too, says he in his Eutherion. When I say anything in the public assembly concerning divine things and predict to them what is going to happen, they ridicule as mad. And although nothing that I have predicted has proved untrue, yet they envy all such men as we are. However, we ought not to heed, but pursue our own way. We're not going to heed what they say. We're going to pursue our own way. We're going to follow the ways of the Most High. This is talking more so about the Israelites. Because we are living in an age of unbelief. That we've been living in an age of unbelief. Okay? And when we talk about divine things, we're the ones that are talking about divine things. Okay? That's the Most High's chosen people's job. That's what we've been doing. And then what happens when we talk about divine things? We get ridiculed as mad. They think that we're crazy. Okay? So they got to throw a little Play-Doh in there and make it seem like, hey, this is talking about us. This is us. These are things that we have to deal with. Same old, same old, same old. Now check this part out. This is really important, okay? The literary resources of the Vatican and other Catholic repositories of learning must have been freely placed at the disposal of these modern authors. So these guys who are trying to find this information, they got a chance to get into all these different books. When one has such treasures at hand, original manuscripts, papyri, and books pillaged from the richest heathen libraries. Whose libraries are these? As of course, we're the heathen, right? We're the people that supposedly didn't have any books, didn't have any learning, but these guys have been pillaging these books the whole time. See how they did double speak? You can only read these 66 books. Don't read any other books. Don't go anywhere else. Just look at what we've given you, while they have pillaged all of our books and have kept it for themselves. Don't read that. That's not important right now. Only read what we tell you is important. The Most High is telling us what's important. The Spirit is working with us to bring out more information. Because it's time. It's time for us to return back to the Father. And it's not just as easy, just, hey, we're saying, how wish I follow such commands, and that's it. He's given us more than just that. We know what we need to do. And we're doing that. And the Most High is blessing us with that. And since we're following him, he's blessing us with more information, more understanding. He's connecting us with us spiritually. He said he's going to give, we're destroyed for a lack of knowledge. He's given us the knowledge back. He's given us the pathway for the knowledge and understanding in order for us to get closer to the Father. And I said, personally, I'm going to be running to the Most High, running to him as much as I possibly can. So again, when one has such treasures at hand, original manuscripts, papyri, and books pillaged from the richest heathen libraries, old treatises on magic and alchemy, and records of all the trials of witchcraft, okay, the sentences for the same to rack, stake, and torture, it is mighty easy to write volumes of accusations against the devil. We affirm on good grounds that there are hundreds of the most valuable works on the occult sciences, which are sentenced to eternal concealment from the public. Again, we affirm on good grounds that there are hundreds of the most valuable works on the occult or hidden sciences, which are sentenced to eternal concealment from the public, but are attentively read and studied by the privileged, who have access to the Vatican library. The laws of nature are the same for heathen sorcerers as for Catholic saints, and a miracle may be produced as well by one as by the other, without the slightest intervention of God or devil. Okay, so the main point right there is that we affirm on good grounds that there are hundreds of the most valuable works on the occult sciences, which are sentenced to eternal concealment from the public, but are attentively read and studied by the privileged, who have access to the Vatican library. So they just told you that they pillaged these books from the richest heathen libraries. This information, they didn't come up with it. They got it from us. The heathen libraries, that's us. Those are our books. That's our information. They have kept it for themselves, and they read it, and they study it. All the while they tell you, don't look at that book. Don't look at that information. That's not for you. That's evil. Well, apparently, some people had this information way before they did, and they just went and stole it, took it, and kept it for themselves, and told you not to read it, because ultimately it's your information. They were not the originators of this information. The devil did not give it to them. They stole it from us. They're admitting it right there. They stole it. They books pillaged from the richest heathen libraries. Now you know what's in the Vatican archives. They're not their information. It's not their information. It's ours. and sentenced right there to eternal concealment from the public. Don't read any other books. 66 books only. That's all you guys need. You're not going to get these books. You're not going to get this information. You see that? And that's why the Spirit has to come back and give us this knowledge, understanding. Give us the information, the understanding, and give us, the courage to step out of what is comfortable, step out of what they've told us we can do, and trust the Most High. Trust to be led by the Spirit to get this understanding. It takes courage. It's very easy to stay complacent. It takes courage to step out on your own and follow the Most High wherever He leads. So I think this is actually huge information right here, and huge understanding that they got their books that they're reading from a huge heathen libraries, the richest heathen libraries. They went into Ireland, took our information there, got a hold of our churches, got a hold of our information, kept that for themselves. Came over here to the New World, got all their information. I did videos a few years ago about how, the archives at the Vatican and Rome had very few books until they started going all over our land and taking over our lands. And all of a sudden, their libraries grew tremendously. Well, who are they getting information from? They didn't come up with it on their own. Remember, the Spirit doesn't go and download information to them. The only way they can get it is to steal it from us, because the Spirit works with us. The Spirit they said is illegal was the one that gave us our information. The one that they call the devil is the one that gave us our information. That they stole the books, they stole that information and keep it for themselves and read it themselves. This is what the Most High is now bringing out. He's given us our understanding back. Here a little, there a little. Look at some things they say. You know what? That doesn't make any sense. But you read the other stuff. Oh, we got the Spirit. They don't have the Spirit. They have spirits that lead them astray. So when they say they got all this information, where do they get it from? We got a Spirit that teaches us. Those were, gave us all this book and understanding. They finally take us down. All of a sudden, their libraries grow. Very easy to understand what's going on. At the end, we know who we are. Now the Most High reconnect us back to our understanding. Reconnect us back to our spiritual understanding, our spiritual connection with the Most High. Just like He did with Moses. Gave him spiritual understanding. Gave him a spiritual, and the Spirit gave him his mission. And then He also gave him the power to complete his mission. These records were not given to everyone. Psalms 147, 19 and 20. He showeth His word unto Jacob, His statutes and His judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation. He's not dealt so with any nation. So all these books that they're getting all of a sudden, all these heathen libraries and heathen documents and that they've pillaged, that's our information. This is why we can do this all day. I can go through scriptures and give you scriptures for this and scriptures for that. We understand this because this is our information. The Spirit is working to give us our knowledge, understanding back. So again, when one has such treasures at hand, original manuscripts, we were the originators of these manuscripts, papyri and books pillaged from the richest heathen libraries. Right there, richest heathen libraries. Our people. Now, what do they always say? Oh, the Druids didn't write anything. Oh, the natives didn't write anything. Well, you're pillaging something. And you got all these books. And you guys read them for yourselves. You're not getting these from Hamites. You're not getting these from other groups of people. You're getting these from the Israelites. The children of light. What are some of the things they've been hiding? Remember now, from Atlantis, the antediluvian world, they take out information. They give you these first edition books and they give you this information, and then later editions, they take it out because they're hiding information. It says number 6 here, without Atlantis, how can we explain the fact that the early Egyptians were depicted by themselves as red men on their own monuments? And on the other hand, how can we account for the representations of Negroes on the monuments of Central America? Desiree Charnay, now engaged in exploring those monuments, has published in the North American Review of December 1880 photographs of a number of idols exhumed at San Juan de Teotihuacan. from which I select the following strikingly Negroid faces. They've always been trying to hide where they get their information from, where are they getting these books from, where are they getting these these books from these ancient libraries, ancient heathen libraries. What do the people look like from these places? Here you go. But see, if you don't look at history, you don't look at other information, you won't see our stories everywhere. Remember, once you have that understanding, you'll find your story in all different books, in all different lands. And that's exactly what you're seeing. You're seeing our story written on, in books, and, temples, monuments, statues, everywhere. So again, and on the other hand, how can we account for the representations of Negroes on the monuments of Central America? The journal now engaged in exploring those monuments has published in the North American Review for December 1880 photographs of a number of idols. My stuff is jumping around here. So same thing right here. Besides the sculptures of long-bearded men seen by the explorer of Chichen Itza, there are tall figures of people with small heads, thick lips, curly hair of wool, regarded as Negroes, all over the place. These are the things that they've been hiding. They read, they know, they got our records, and they know, hey, you know what? That's in the first edition. Take that out of the next edition. Get those pictures out of there. Get that information out of there. Because eventually these guys are going to wake up and they're going to be led by the Spirit to get back into these things. They're going to find their way back, not by us, because we're all confederate against them. Only way is through the Spirit. The Spirit is going to lead them back to the truth, lead them back to their records. So you know what? We need to make it illegal to say that the Spirit is doing this. Make it seem as if the Spirit leading them, it's the devil. Don't get into those books. Don't look at that information. Don't look at the walls in those temples. You know what? In fact, make it, close off those temples. They can't go visit those parts of the temples anymore. We don't want them to see these kinds of things on the walls. What the hell are you guys thinking? That does not go with the story we've set up. That does not go with the narrative that we set up. Damn it, guys, just read the Bible. That's it. And let our priest tell you what it means. Don't read anything else. The Most High has given us back our knowledge, given us back our power. This goes to the video I did a couple of days ago out of the Illuminati book here. That part at the bottom. Once a great truth has been uncovered, one discovers hints of it in many works, in many lands. This is because truth is universal. It does not belong to only one people. Yes, well, this truth belongs to the Most High's chosen people. Truth is universal. Many of you are ignoring the truth, ignoring where this information comes from, who it came from. The churches have taken it, hidden it, and they read it to themselves, but they don't let you see. They don't let you make the decision. They don't let you come up with your own conclusions. The Old Testament pseudepigrapha, just a little bit of review as we're going through this. I'm not going to read the whole thing here, but talking about, the Antichrist here, the devil, and what he's going to see, but what he's done to the world. It says, you made us hostile to God. The sinners will weep, saying, you made us hostile to God. The Most High deals in the spirit world. You made it seem as if he doesn't. You made it seem like when he's showing us our information, that it's not him, but it's the devil. You made people hostile to God. And that's why they don't listen to us, because they think that you are going to lead them to heaven. And that you are the only way for them to make it to heaven. So therefore, they're afraid to think for themselves. They're afraid to step out and do things contrary to what the church says. And that's why the sinners will weep, saying, you made us hostile to God. Because of the saints, we are the saints. Bring up the saints, for because of them the earth yields fruit. For because of them the sun shines upon the earth. For because of them the dew will come upon the earth. The angels work here on the earth for the saints. They work here on the earth. The angels of air, angel of light, angel of water. That's what they were making references to right there. Angels of the earth, yielding fruits. The sun, angel of light. Angel of the dew, angel of water. They're working together to make a paradise for the saints. They work for us. These are the things that have been hidden. They're hidden in the book of the Essenes, the different, angels for the earthly mother and for the Most High that work together for our physical needs here, but also our spiritual needs. The Most High deals with his angels are dealing with us in the night and when we are asleep, working on our spiritual growth and needs. The angels minister us at night. The angels of the Father minister to us at night and build up our spirits. The earthly mother and her angels deal with us during the day and deal with our physical needs. So that's what they're making references to here. So when you're reading these stories, they're going to be allegories. There's going to be stories behind the stories. There's going to be understanding behind the stories. It's not just the story that you're reading, but the things that are hidden underneath. They're making references to angels. For because of them, the earth yields fruit. For because of them, the sun shines, the angel of light. Because of them, the dew will come upon the earth, the angel of water. They work together to yield fruit. For the plants, they need air, water, and sunlight. Then the plants grow and they produce food for us, for our physical bodies. And then at night, the angels of the Father come and administer to our spirits and build up our spirits. Many things are going on. Like I said, there's an exoteric understanding, okay, and an esoteric understanding. Understanding for the whole world gets, and ones that a few people get. Now we're going to take a look, because these are the kinds of things that, you got to understand. Like, they know where the promised lands are, and they're all about making things like it's over here and it's over there. They're always trying to hide the truth. That's what the enemy does. I got this book again. I got, from Kurumeo in his video. We ended up getting the book, Ireland, Ur of the Chaldees, by Anna Wilkes. So we can go into a little bit right here. So they're all about deception. They're all about look over here, look over there. Look at these people. Look at their lands. It's never about the truth. It's always about deception. This is chapter 7, the sons of Noah and their descendants. The Orthodox teachers tell us that Noah sometimes, after his release from the ark, planted a vine. But where he planted the vine is left to conjecture, and that's it. It's left to conjecture. There is a great man mentioned in Welsh tradition called Hu the Mighty, and this Hu, for other reasons besides having planted a vineyard in Gascony, is by the Welsh believed to be identical with Noah. It is true that Hu does not sound very like Noah, but the same may be said of the Chaldean Noah, who is called Ixistras. Whether Hu or Gadarn, according to the triads, the leader of 3 Pacific tribes of the families of Shem, Ham, and Japheth, was the same person as Noah, Duivan, and Nud, is not to be perhaps satisfactorily proven. But we will not try to prove it, for we wish only to show that Celtic tradition points to the mariners of the ark as having been with the first state of things in Western Europe. We're going to talk about this right now, okay? And the actual originators of Asiatic kingdoms, subsequent to their sojourn in Europe, particularly in the British Islands. Just because the Irish and Welsh are in the habit of tracing their genealogies up to Noah, so are the Hebrews accustomed. We do not mean to say that these genealogies are entirely to be relied upon. We are only now alluding to one of the Celtic customs being common to the Hebrew. There was no particular and enduring distinction between him and the Celt. Ancient Britain and Ireland we assume to have been places of sojourn of Noah and his sons. Therefore, the religion of the Hebrews may reasonably be expected to have been the same as that of the Druids. And we know that Paul came in Acts 29 to Britain and met with the Druids and said that those were his brothers. And conveniently, the church said, nah, Acts 29, yeah, we don't approve that. Take that out. This is why you get led by the Spirit to look at these different things that the church has said is off limits. So again, ancient Britain and Ireland we assume to have been places of sojourn of Noah and his sons. Therefore, the religion of the Hebrews may reasonably be expected to have been the same as that of the Druids. There are, to the present day, families of the name of Noah to be found in England. Of course, some might say this is no uninterrupted inheritance of the name, only a coincidence to be explained by many causes other than a distinct Noahic source. Okay? It says, but it is quite probable, because the Hebrews and the Celts were once the same, that the name has remained here. Now, as you can see, Brother Kudumeo did a great video on this already. We're going to get into some other information. I was going to bring it all out into one video and just kind of make these connections. Check this out. There's another book that kind of goes along with this. This one right here, Britain, the Key to World History. People have been writing books talking about Britain being part of the Holy Lands. They just don't get much play because, you know, it doesn't go with the narrative. It doesn't go with his story. So we're now looking for my story, the mystery again. So now these other books we started getting into, remember, they can't prove that these things actually happened in the so-called Middle East. They can't prove it. So therefore, to sit there and make it seem like these books don't mean anything, I said they can prove certain things also, that things happen in other parts of the world. This book actually gives you a little example. We're just going to look at this one map. Check this map out right here. Talking about Jerusalem and how places actually in Britain fit the whole, land, markings and the way that everything is for Jerusalem and the so-called Middle East. It actually fits over here in Britain as well. I just wanted to show you this map right here. Dungate, Dungport, King Stables Gate, Princess St. Garden, Valley of Jehoshaphat. I actually make it a little bit bigger so you guys can see it right there. So you guys can kind of go back and take a look at the numbers, take a look at the things they have right here. How things, there's different places in the world that fit, Jerusalem. Could be a different place for Jerusalem. And these other books, kind of show that. Like, hey, it fit here. It doesn't have to always, not all of these different places have to be in the so-called Middle East. It can fit here. There's different landmarks and different parts right here that fit, that Jerusalem could have been here in Britain. You got certain streets. They got certain, there's a castle rock. They got certain castles. They got, certain churches. They got things like that fit the same, places, same landmarks that are over in the so-called Middle East can also fit in Britain. Certain mountain ranges. There's that Arthur C for 19, Mount of Olives right there. 822 feet high. The 13. South back. South back of Canaan, Colgate, Third Hill. Okay. So a lot of these different things, a lot of different places fit. Number 3. Edinburgh Castle. Number 3. David City or Mount Zion. The 15. Norloch. Pool of Bethesda. 14. Cannon's Gate. Gate of the Essenes. The 17. Watergate. Right there in Watergate right there. So there's different places, streets to Joppa up there up north. So I just wanted to show you that too. You got your information out of these books talking about Ireland and the land of Ur. You got a book about Britain talking about how, they got different things to say, hey, a lot of these things happened over here. You just can't discount all this information because they can't prove that all these things happened in the so-called Middle East. Going to read a little bit more from the Kabbalah Unveiled, talking about Moses, okay? talking about some things that Moses was actually, exposed to. Take a look here at the bottom of number 7. The Kabbalah was first taught by the Most High himself to a select company of angels who formed a theosophic school in paradise. You said, hey, as above, so below. Many things that were, set up in the heavens have been set up down here. We'll see. After the fall, the angels most graciously communicated this heavenly doctrine to the disobedient child of earth to furnish the protoplas with the means of returning to their pristine nobility and felicity. From Adam, it passed over to Noah, and then to Abraham, the friend of the Most High, who immigrated with it to Egypt, where the patriarch allowed a portion of this mysterious doctrine to ooze out. It was in this way that the Egyptians obtained some knowledge of it, and the other Eastern nations would introduce it into their philosophical systems. Now, we do know that Abraham taught some things to the Egyptians. That's talked about in Josephus. We didn't know exactly what was taught because it didn't really say, but this is telling you what was taught. Some of this information, some of this Kabbalic information was given to them, and this is how they got some of their understanding. So like I said, some information has been given. We know that the Hamites, the Egyptians here, did not have this information. Mizraim did not have this information on their own. It was given to a specific group of people. And Abraham shared some of it with the Egyptians. So these books kind of give a lot more information than we just, the Bible gives you, like I've always said, the Bible gives you like an overview. These other books you need to get deeper understanding. They keep all this information for themselves. They've been reading this information and keeping you from it. So again, see, they made it seem like these Eastern nations could introduce it into their philosophical systems, and the world makes it seem as if they're the ones that originated this information. This information came from the Eastern nations. But here it's showing you that Abraham gave it to the Egyptians, and then it kind of spread to the East. It didn't originate from because that other book that I did the video on said about the chakras that India did not get this information on their own. It did not originate with the East Indians. But they told you, oh, well, we don't know exactly where it came from. But it didn't originate with them. You see that? They know where it came from. It came from Abraham. It came from our lineage. That's why you got to hear a little in one book, there a little in another book. So the question from the other book of where this came from, where did the East Indians get the chakra information from? Well, here you go. Right here. Here a little, there a little. Moses, who was learned in all the wisdom of Egypt, was first initiated into the Kabbalah in the land of his birth, but became most proficient in it during his wanderings in the wilderness, when he not only devoted to it the leisure hours of the whole 40 years, but received lessons in it from one of the angels. Okay, it's 40 years. We knew he was gone with his wife and everything for 40 years. They didn't really talk about what he was learning, what he was doing. Most High didn't work with him. See, that's the church. See, they don't want to teach you that the angels are working with you, the spirit's working with you. So they just skipped over all that. The fact that he was getting prepared for his mission. Are we not all being prepared for our mission? Have we not had our whole lives where we've been getting prepared for what we're going to do now? Have not the spirits and the angels been working with us throughout our whole lives to prepare us for today? Would that be any different for Moses? But the Bible won't tell you that. They don't want you to know that the Most High has been dealing with us on a spiritual plane and a spiritual level. So they leave that out of the Bible. That's why you got to go to other books to get what he was being taught for those 40 years. Like we said, here a little, there a little. And you just look, that's how it's worked in our lives. That's how it's worked in my life. Most High has been preparing me for this my whole life. The spirits have been working in my life the whole time. The angels have been working with me the whole time. Okay, so again, but received lessons in it from one of the angels. By the aid of this mysterious science, the lawgiver was enabled to solve the difficulties which arose during his management of the Israelites. In spite of the pilgrimages, wars, and frequent miseries of the nation, he covertly laid down the principles of this secret doctrine in the first 4 books of the Pentateuch, but withheld them from Deuteronomy. Moses also initiated the 70 elders into the secrets of this doctrine, and they began transmitted They again transmitted them from hand to hand of all who formed the unbroken line of tradition. David and Solomon were the most deeply, things just jumping around all over the place, most deeply initiated into the Kabbalah. Right there. David and Solomon were the most deeply initiated into the Kabbalah. And we know that they were doing some crazy things dealing with the spirit world, especially Solomon. So it would kind of make sense. So like I said, we're getting more understanding. That's why you got to put different pieces together in order to get deeper understanding. It's not all going to be in one book, because your enemy is going to keep a lot of this information out of it. He does not want you to make spiritual connections. He doesn't want you to understand that the Most High has been working with his people through the spirit world in order to bring them up to speed, to give them information, just like he did with Enoch when he took him, year after year, was taking him and he was gone forever, and coming back after he gets downloaded on and writing things down and going back again and going back and forth. He was dealing in a spirit world, and they don't want you to know that, so that's not in the Bible. They don't want you to understand about the spirit world and the Most High dealing with us spiritually. So as you can see how the Most High has been working, how he is working, how he's given us our knowledge, understanding again, and how we have to be open to follow the Most High wherever it is that he wants to take us. All praise is the Most High, Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother. Who was wisdom? Who was the Holy Spirit? Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. Shalom, family.